Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of TacoBytes, your daily bite of Degen, episode number 481, 481. You would think that might mean something other than we have done this for 481 episodes. Woo! And actually, what's really hilarious is sometimes we probably should do a real count to make sure that, see which ones were doubled up. But even sometimes during the day or one of the shows, if we get rugged, like in the middle of it, we start it back up and it'll be like, episode 300, but then it turns into episode 300.1. So I remember one time driving from Denver to Las Vegas, and I was about 30 minutes outside of Las Vegas, and it took 4 hours because of traffic. And like every few feet, I'd be in and out of service, but I didn't know that. And I would just, because the conversation was so good, we ended up getting to episode 0.7 before we were just like, yeah, all right, Twitter does not like this today. So yeah, a very interesting time. We have an amazing guest that is running a little bit late, but they will be getting here shortly. Hey Wallet, building out on Solana, and allowed. Let the background be uniform, so I don't go jumping out the window and we don't hear traffic out there and everything like that. So what is Hey Wallet? Hey Wallet is a social wallet, and we're going to be having them hop on. So really deep dive into them, but it is basically a Twitter-based wallet. And you can use commands at Hey Wallet, send whatever X token for actions, liking, retweeting, commenting, quoting, follow. It's pretty interesting and pretty cool. And I've actually used it twice. I've done campaigns on it. This was a great tweet to do with using Hey Wallet. And so for every person that retweeted this show, got some soul sent to them. So it's a really cool concept, rewarding engagement and requests, yeah, it's paid advertisement at its finest, because it's not enough to where it can be socially farmed and sybiled, because you can put rules in place. You can say Twitter account can be this old or have this many followers, and no one will actually know what you put as your conditions. Now, there's some cool stuff more building out that we're going to be talking with Hey Wallet. I actually don't know who is behind the Hey Wallet. And so, or at least behind the Hey Wallet account. So this is going to be really cool. Because they've been around for over a year, I think, that I randomly, I was like, oh, that seems cool. Because one of the really cool things that they did was make the Hey Wallet, make this an NFT. So you could put a picture in your tweet and it would turn it into an NFT and put it in your social wallet. Account abstraction, when before it was really being used, which I thought was really cool. It was unique, and yeah. So I'm gonna quit talking about Hey Wallet. I'm gonna, mention, Sweeper Finance, because why? I work for Sweeper Finance now. I haven't added it to any of my socials yet. I need to. I'm gonna update all of that stuff, but it's just going to be, it's really cool. Like when it rains, it pours, and like really been pushing towards, you've seen me grow from like, let's fucking go. Like, let's get this 1000% APR for 2 hours, that's better than, and you've seen me grow into talking about standing up for crypto, being safer, education, caring about others, because that's what got me into blockchain. And so it has been a really cool journey. And then you saw me, get into regulation, and be taken serious, having, a name like Taco. I'm already maybe at a disadvantage, or I'm just cool enough and I hold my ground just well enough that people are like, oh yeah, you're actually serious about this shit. Though I do probably swear too much, and I try not to, because would I speak this way to my grandma? No, Grandma Taco would not have any of this. And for those who've been here for a long time, you will remember the great episode last year where I was at my grandma's house and she sort of walked into the show and was like, Grandma Taco needs Taco to go and end the show because it's dinner time. And when Grandma Taco says that, you got to do what Grandma Taco says. So we're going to send out some quick social pieces real quick, as we wait for anyone and everyone to join, so let's do this. All right. So we're going to send out some quick notifications. All right. So mind with us as we do that. And we're going to have some fun, because this is what's really cool about all of this. We've been doing this for a minute, and yeah, that's one of the best things about Web3. You are just, you never know who we'll talk to, but what's really cool is that everyone will talk to you if you just ask. And so we hope that you either join us on video or join us in the Twitter space, because that is what's going to go on. And so we did a special thing with that tweet. So the first 100 people that share that tweet, and only 21 people have so far, so there's 79 more people that can get some free soul. And you're like, oh, I didn't set up my Hey Wallet account. That's okay. That's one of the cool things. We'll talk about that once they get in here. But we're going to send these real quick. So we are going to send this, and we are on the wrong network because we're going on Chain. This video is on Chain. Did you know that? I knew that because it's my channel. So let's see here. All right, we got, I think, Hey Wallet joined us in the space. So let's get them on up here. Boop. There's that. And hold on one second as Hey Wallet connects.
What's going on, Taco? Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me on.
Hey, thank you for taking the time. And I hear a ding ding of a car. So hope you're being safe.
Yeah, no, absolutely being safe. Actually was heading somewhere right now between meetings, and then when you asked, you had it set up. I'm in Pacific time, so when you said it, I said at that original time, I was like, I should have somewhere to be at like 6 p.m. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna take this mobile and let's make it work. Let's let it rip.
Hey, I have done TacoBytes on an airplane over the Atlantic.
Wow.
So
that's pretty impressive. That might have me beat in any fashion. I always think that being on Slack in air is pretty cool, but that's pretty badass. How'd you manage to pull that off?
I was in the back of the plane, and there was enough signal to where I could host a Twitter space, but I couldn't host the video at the same time. So I did them separately. So I did the video live, and then I did the Twitter space, and it was a quick bite, because sometimes the market isn't really hot. There isn't a lot of cool things going on, or I've repeated something a ton of times. So, and it was like, hey, we're flying to Barcelona. We're going to be at Chainlink. We're going to the hackathon. let's freaking go.
Let's fucking go, man. Let's freaking go. Sorry, I founder here, my founder mouth. I always got a bit of a potty mouth sometimes, but let's freaking go, man.
Hey, I was literally, let's fucking go.
There we go.
You know,
there we go.
I'm totally a potty mouth. I try not to be, but there's a couple things, you know, here and there that slip out. So
it's only normal. I mean, it's only natural. I feel like as a founder, or just anybody in general, like one of the best ways to really get people to trust you is just be normal as possible. And for me, like one of the things that I've always had to do is just for the longest time try to speak in a way that wouldn't upset anybody. And to become a founder, just or to kind of a lot of the way that I want to hold myself and speak. But at the end of the day, it's always it's funny because I swear in the crypto space it's just so much more different than the tech space. So I come from Web 2. I guess I'll give you a little background on myself. But I actually come from Web 2. Me and my other founders, we all have 10 plus years of experience in the space. Both of the other founders are full stack engineers, high concentration UX design. Myself, I come from more of a sales and marketing background, a BD. I actually worked at different startups such as like OfferUp and a couple others, and then transitioned to corporate like sales at DocuSign for a period of time right before I actually started a wallet with King Soul. And it's just been a crazy ride ever since. It's been about 2 years now, and just as everyone knows, this whole space, I feel like 2 years feels like 10. It's just, I've like lost my hair and got some gray hairs on my beard. So it's definitely been a wild ride.
Yeah, no. If anything, we've learned that Web3 does make the hair turn a little whiter, a little faster. You know.
That's for sure. That is for damn sure.
And it's no, and you basically what I heard, one thing I heard, it's speaking to your audience, and like, so my mouth might be a little less loose on the swear words because I literally just came from a digital asset like meetup, and like I was talking with like Key Rock and like Anchorage Digital and all these like I'm like, oh, that's a very nice jacket, and they're like, oh yeah, this just cost $4,000, and I was like, oh cool, my conference badge costs that much.
Yeah, sounds about right. I mean, honestly, it's just. Where was this? Where was this at? Was this in New York?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. I literally was like, yeah, it sounds like you're in New York.
Yep.
I could tell. That's the city for sure.
Yeah.
I love the city though. So, are you based in New York right now too?
I am.
Okay.
Manhattan.
Heck yeah.
So blocks away from Times Square, and there's a really cool Web3 community here, both on like the DeFi side, CeFi, TradeFi, and TradFi, So, but there's just a lot of room for growth, and but so Hey Wallet's been around for 2 years, you said, right?
That's correct. Yep.
Now,
that's right.
I was saying, like, I think I had gotten my first Hey Wallet maybe a year and a half ago. Is it it's been about a year though that you've been active, right?
Yeah, so to be honest with you, so I guess just give you a quick history on ourselves. We started Hey Wallet actually as a hackathon entry in end of 2021. So we actually entered in the Solana hackathon, and this was October of 2021.
Yeah.
And we actually like King Soul built the product, literally bootstrapped it all from the ground up. And what happened then from there, we entered into the hackathon and like put in all this effort and energy into like the submission video and everything. And with all due respect to the rest of the competition,
you knocked it out of the park.
No, actually the opposite. Like we didn't even place.
What?
Yeah, we didn't even get honorable mention actually. So it was pretty funny, but the reality though for us, it actually like motivated us, and and by all means, like, didn't deter anything away, and we didn't feel we didn't even feel really snubbed for the most part. I mean, granted, we were, if anything, we're competitors, so we just saw the competition. Because there was a few different products that were built similar to ours, and they actually had an honorable mention. And yet, like, we just completely didn't even get recognized. But granted, I think that, like I said, it did us a favor, because then from there we just essentially pushed, and we were able to slowly but surely, like, get in with the right communities. And within, I think, the first few months, we were able to obtain about 20,000 users pretty quickly. And then from there, it's just been a slow grind. Like, we're up to about 150,000 users now, and it's just been, like I said, just a constant grind every single day, and just constant iterations of what we want to, like, how we want to build our product, and what the next variation will look like. Right now, pretty excited, because, like, we've just continuously added on more features that are just going to make things just a lot easier for users, and I'm happy to drop some of that alpha here in a minute. But yeah, and so when we started initially, it was a one-by-one kind of thing. We started with partnering with a lot of different communities. I think the first community that really helped get us recognized by a lot of people was the degens. We actually worked with them and launched us on Hey Wallet, and then I think a lot of people first started recognizing us right around that same time. This was probably like the summer of last year, and we actually had a chance to speak with Frank and a few of the other guys at the team that unfortunately are no longer there. But granted, that was like also just like having a chance to partner with a larger project, like a project like that, who was just growing as fast as it was also a big catalyst for us. And then things just kept continuing to evolve. We kept partnering, we kept building, we kept our head down. And then beginning of this year is when we really struck lightning. We caught lightning in a bottle, and I think a lot of people have really started hearing about Hey Wallet and really being curious. Essentially, what happened was we built this airdropping feature that allows you to distribute tokens to people who engage with your tweets.
Yeah.
And it just spread like wildfire. And we were able to we actually connected with Anatoly, the founder of Solana. He used the feature. It just went nuts. And I think within 1 month we gained 50,000 new users. It was just it was almost to the point where trying to keep up was not only difficult, but it honestly felt impossible. So it was just, it was, that was kind of the beginning of the year. I think that's when really, that feature alone really, I would say, put us on the map. And I think that's right around the time where everybody in the Solana ecosystem had heard of us and signed up and was receiving these airdrops. And from there, we just kept testing and iterating. Obviously, a lot of people may have known that the recent changes that came with Twitter, X now, required us to evolve as well. And so that's kind of why we spent the last, few months now, better half of the last, 3, 4, 5 months building our kind of a next sets of features that also will just continuously allow us to live outside of just being on top of other social platforms like Twitter.
Yeah.
And one of the things we built, we integrated with Discord, we've integrated with Telegram, we've also built our own standalone web product. So it's just a lot of testing and iterating.
Are you guys? I haven't tested it yet, but are you guys able to use the token 2022 standard yet?
That's a great question. From my understanding, I believe so. I would need to double check for sure with King Soul and Aware, because they're more technical than I am. I know we had discussed it. I honestly not too certain if I'm not sure where we're at. I know for a fact that's something that we should have. I'm not sure, because the social product that we've actually built, we even though it's totally functional, we've actually haven't added a lot to it recently, and the reason being is just because we want to build other areas to complement it and actually serve as more of a driving catalyst for our project.
Yeah.
And we've actually been building more in Telegram actually and Discord.
Okay.
And so as far as when I say building, what I mean more specifically though is what I mean is not the actual social sending feature specifically,
but more of like the active rewards for participation.
Correct, active rewards, and more specifically, right now, this is super alpha. We actually dropped our own TG bot where you can be able to go and buy any meme token with literally like with a click of a finger. Pretty much.
Okay.
So
like, is it like the bonk bot?
Yeah, it's very similar, except it's. I would argue and say it's even easier. We've integrated so much to it where like you can literally find tokens just by typing in the actual symbol. You don't even need to have the token address.
Okay.
And
nice.
So it's pretty cool how it's built out because it's just, for us, we see a huge demand for users wanting to integrate, wanting to have something integratable where they can be able to obtain these tokens that they distribute. And so for us, it was just a comment, like it just made a lot of sense to go down this path and build out this. And then from there, we built out rewards features with that bot also that you're not seeing with any other TG bot.
Yeah. And so like, from my point of view, it seemed like you guys, and so now I know that you guys went towards like aiming towards Discord and Telegram. It almost like you guys went a little dark on Twitter for a little bit, because I remember when, like the Hey Wallet, make this an NFT feature came out. And
oh yeah, that was the good times. I love that one.
Yeah.
That's my favorite features.
Or send, and so there was so many pictures of my face and wherever I was at in the world.
I love it.
All
turn it into a non-fungible asset, right?
Exactly.
I love it.
Proof of attendance, at its finest.
Yes. So that was an interesting time period. Like, it was just wild. The first quarter of this year was just absolutely wild for us.
Yeah.
And what had happened, and what you're mentioning here, is essentially once Elon took over Twitter and turned it into X, one of the first big changes he made was he changed a lot of how the developer API
calls works. Yeah, and how many API calls you could call without.
Exactly.
Yeah. It sucked because
he also essentially, the package that we were using, he essentially at that time removed and only allowed a basic package which would only provide like 10,000 calls, which we would burn through literally in like less than 30 minutes. And 10,000 calls for a month, excuse me. So it's like you pay for something that within 30 minutes of having it would already run out for a whole month, which it's like, imagine buying a phone plan and it's like literally you only get 30 minutes of phone talk.
Yeah.
It's like for the rest of the month, like what are you going to do? It just becomes worthless. Then the next package up at that time was their actual enterprise package, and that started at $42,000 a month.
Yeah.
That was just, for a startup, that's just ridiculous. There's actually, Fortune 500 companies who I've heard cut ties with Twitter too because they didn't want to pay that $42,000 a month either.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you that, that was a pretty drastic change. Now, granted, kudos to Elon because in time, I think people realize the value and I think they've adapted as well and changed things around. And with that being said, I think there's a reason why you're seeing us more active because there might be a comeback coming soon too. So I'm just going to keep that on the hush hush right now. But yeah, as far as Twitter goes, we still want to leverage Twitter as much as possible. We just want to make sure that if we fully go back into it, we're going to do it in a way where it makes sense and not have to worry about any changes with the API. And what it really comes down to is right now, X is pretty much turned into a startup itself, and like we want to get to a position where we're going to be spending that kind of money. We want to be able to like work with them closely to ensure that we're not going to have any hiccups and make sure that we're all making everybody happy. And so we're kind of like sitting here waiting and trying to find the right time to kind of jump back in, but it's everything is in motion where it's going to happen hopefully sooner than later.
Nice. And so one of the things that I've noticed that I think you guys have implemented is bio recognition for people, that what they have in their bio, whether or not they're associated with something and they should be recognized for something. Is that right?
Yeah. So something that's in the works. Yeah.
Okay.
Essentially.
Yeah. So like I know I've done something with that, like with another project to where there's a symbol in my bio to where I'm recognized. Like they only do like every once a week check to make sure it's still there, because now that's all they have to do, because you can only change your bio like every 2 weeks, every week or something like that. And so they have a little startup like that piece that makes it a little bit easier. But it's sort of the same thing. And just, want to take a quick second, want to thank everyone for joining us. Please make sure you are following Hey Wallet and see what they are building. And we're going to talk more about that, like the account abstraction and why Solana, and then you expanded to Polygon as well.
Yeah, we did. And we really, for us, we want to go where our users are asking us to go. And that's kind of like our first stepping stone. I think for the way that we look at this is it's all like we want to nail it first and scale it out. So lots of times if you're seeing us like dip our toes into other ecosystems like Polygon or Ethereum, lots of times it's just exactly that, us dipping our toes, seeing what works, what's what people want, and what actually sticks, and then from there doubling down, scaling and nailing it out, then scaling it out. So we definitely, we're very much chain agnostic. We believe in a multi-chain world, but with that being said, like Solana is just continuously time over time proven to be the most efficient for us to continue to build and really perfect what we want, and then from there scale out. That's kind of the plan. Like from once we're able to continue to nail down what we're working on in Solana, then we can move it. It makes it a lot easier to be able to take those same ideas and concepts and apply them to other chains such as Ethereum and Polygon.
And it's really it's the projects that ask you to come there, right? Not necessarily, So they're covering it.
Absolutely correct. And we want to, like, the way we look at it is just like this opportunity. We chase opportunity, right? And when I say chase opportunity, we're not chasing opportunity. We look at isn't like market size. We're not. If my team wanted to chase a bag, we would have dropped the token last year. We would have dropped it. There's so many opportunities where we could have gone in and dropped the token, but we already have, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
But we want to make sure that we plan very accordingly and do this the right way. That if we drop the token, if and when we drop that token, we want to do it the right way. And so, as far as us continuously, testing, iterating, like we want to make sure that as we build, like what we build is of use for everybody. Like it needs to make sense. Like I think so many times as builders, people tend to think that they're going to create something that has value, but not realizing that abstracting value isn't just from yourself. It's understanding the value from others, users in this case, and seeing what you can provide for them. Like what's that missing piece that they need, that they're either already doing now that can help improve their lives, or something that they want that they may not fully recognize that this is a need, right? And so stepping in and filling those needs and gaps is always kind of our goal, and like that's kind of what we want to continue to do. And that's where we're at right now with this Telegram bot. Like we just continuously see, no disrespect to any other products out there, but we as product builders with over 10 plus years of UX design, we're very adamant in building the most simplistic products. Like the way our motto is, it's got to be so simple that your parents can figure out how to use it.
Yeah.
Right. My immigrant mother can just go on a Telegram and figure out how to use that bot. Or, as our previous V1 of the social wallet, same thing. Right? It's so easy. Like people are watching on a timeline, hey, wallet, send this much to so and so. There's like literally no education needed for that product.
Yeah.
People just go on the timeline and see it. Same thing, like first 100 retweets, and then boom, like everything just took a life of itself essentially.
Yeah.
And it's all because it's just you build something so easy that you don't have to educate people how to use it. Essentially, like if you have to educate people, you're kind of defeating the purpose.
Yeah. And, and especially as just sort of, people get more used to it. You used to like,
Exactly.
everyone used to see that green button on a phone and they would just tap it. But now intuitively, everyone grabs, no matter what kind of phone they have, they grab it and they slide it. And if you see them move from like Android to Apple, some people are used to sliding directly across. Well, with like Android, you can swipe in any direction. And it's becoming
Yeah.
more and more intuitive for people. So, like, I guess some of the questions I have, like when conditions, I guess, like, so like, I, it's like only to like, I guess maybe like prevent Sybil, but like, if someone wants to guarantee the quality of it, or like they like send this amount of soul if they have this many followers, or this much bread token if they have this big of a reach, or their account is this old. Are you looking at doing anything like that?
That's a great question, and it's not yet. And the reason being is that would require a lot of like, it doesn't require. It's not impossible. It just would require some thinking.
Yeah.
And the way we would have to call the API, I'm like, in my mind, I'm trying to like think and solve how we would do it, and it definitely seems feasible. It's not that it's not possible. It's just for us right now. I think the focal point has been to continue to expand in areas where it makes sense, and because the reason why one of the things that we had done with our previous product was, in order for somebody to claim a reward, that person would actually have to pay the gas fee themselves.
I remember that.
So, and this was the reason why this works so well is because of two things. One is it can help prevent botting, because if somebody is distributing a small reward, this person is going to have to go in and actually pay the gas fee and open a new account for every single token, every single wallet that this person wants to accept it in. Essentially, what I'm saying is this person would be farming all day, every day to make it worth it, and even then, like, this person is only farming like cents in the dollar. So
yeah,
the likelihood is pretty low. I mean, it's definitely there, but it's just a little lower. But with that being said, also, because that we built that feature where they have to really pay the gas fee themselves, it not only becomes more expensive, but really just time consuming essentially too. So, but with that being said, I'm going to answer your question as directly as possible. It is definitely something that we actually had spoken about, creating parameters around how the rewards are distributed. And it's just kind of one of those things that's on the roadmap that once we feel like we're ready to cross that bridge, we'll definitely cross it.
All right. Yeah, no, that was sort of like one of those things that I actually, that was exactly what I was sort of thinking, because I'm like, I know you said you're working on solidifying your base before and making sure that it's simple enough that anyone can use, and so, yeah, that's one of the real, you're working to add a lot of value before you add fancy bells and whistles,
Exactly. This shout out to Aware. This is actually what he always says. He's like, we need to perfect our first 5 features. Like, you see so many products out there that just keep building new features. When I say first 5 features, what I mean more specifically is like for each platform, whatever we're working upon, right? So if you're building something that you're just adding all these subset of features, but 80% of your users are. This is the reality. Most simple products, and not even just simple products, most products in general, even like Instagram, for instance, or TikTok, whatever it may be, 80% of its users, generally speaking, are using less than two, 3 features.
Yeah.
Generally speaking. So it's like the reality is you need to find those 2, 3 features that's keeping that person on your, wanting to continue to coming back to use your platform every single time and just perfecting them. Because the moment that you start adding more features and someone comes in and makes that feature better is the moment you lose your user. Your user, excuse me, loser. You become the loser, and you lose your user. That's right.
Yeah.
I can't talk over here. But yeah, essentially, it's a cat and mouse game. It can be a cat and mouse game for a lot of projects who think that it's all about trying to add value, where the reality is that value is right in front of them. And to be honest with you, we've seen this happen already in the Solana ecosystem. I'm not going to call out anybody specifically, but you know, one of the largest projects in the space in Solana for the longest time controlled over 90% of their, you know, of their market, and then literally overnight, because they started expanding into other areas, much smaller project came out of nowhere and started to take control of their, you know, the percentage of the market. And I'm not, you know, it's not about who it was. I think we're all pretty aware of like this happening actually a lot of different projects now. But it's just like, you know, a cautionary tale, like a perfect explanation of how, you know, it's better to focus on perfecting your top features than trying to add more value from something out of nothing.
And that doesn't, and they don't like rhyme with like Dataplex, does it?
No comment. Actually, there's like a couple that'd be good too. There's another one that might rhyme with.
Don't even.
Eden,
yeah. Don't even. You don't even have. Yeah. You know. I got you. So, I knew where you're going.
And these are projects that I have nothing but respect for. So
yeah.
I'm just clarifying here. This is no like me saying like nothing but respect. And I still like they're actually still top projects that I use. It's just crazy to me because I think what happens is a lot of times this big shit you see are these true degens, right? Like these true DeFi users, the ones that aren't trying to use, like, it's almost like in my mind, like once a project becomes like mainstream, a lot of the real DeFi users like don't want to use it anymore.
Yeah.
For the most part, depending on the project, of course. But yeah. So with that being said, you know, nothing but respect to them, and I'm sure like, you know, they're all going to bounce back, and they're still the top dog by all means. But it's just one of those things where it's like you can't lose sight of what people want.
Yeah, no, and it, you know, first to market, they, you know, or second to market, I guess, but they were able to make such a big impact, and they laid the groundwork, and and it's not, they're not going anywhere. They're trying to figure out their own, you know, they're trying to figure out how to have not a larger market share, but touch every market, and that's a sign of growth, and it's a healthy thing, you know, like any tree that's growing spreads its roots.
Exactly.
And it, like we've seen, you know, if you look at some of those really cool pictures of like trees that get shorter and shorter, but like a wider treetop, those roots just go out like crazy. 100%. And it just becomes a part of the ecosystem.
Exactly.
And so you know, and I've seen even like the same type of growth in my aspect, you know, from going from like hunting, you know, for degen LP pools, you know, to like just stable coins even, you know, to now I'm in like securities, tokenized assets and all of that stuff. And now I work money markets and tokenized money markets and carbon credits, you know.
Wild. It's just a wild ride. You're absolutely right. And you know, to your point too, you say it perfectly. Like, we don't want them to go anywhere because it's going to actually hurt the ecosystem more than actually, like, you know, like if something would happen to one of these dogs overnight, it actually would be more detrimental to the ecosystem than positive, right? And so even like, I don't care. I mean, once again, we see this time and time again, right? Like, even like the biggest dogs there are, like, look at what happened at FTX. When FTX went down, I don't care what chain you were in, everybody felt that effect.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, we should never, like, pray for anybody just to fall and collapse, because the reality is it's going to probably hurt all of us.
Yeah.
And like, that's not what we should wish for.
And I think there's a slight difference, though, with what I will counter that. I'm glad that FTX fell when it did, because they were nefarious actors from the get-go. And I think that will make a difference too. If nefarious actors last longer, I think that will have a bigger ripple effect than if a good actor falls for some reason. But I think you're right that they will both have ripple effects. And the only reason I say that is because I spent 5 weeks in the courtroom listening to all of the testimony from that SBF trial. And on that, Twitter rugged us. No. No.
I was like, what happened?
Hey, Wallet. If you're still listening, please throw an emoji to show that you are still a real human. In the crowd, want to thank you all for joining us. It's sound robot.
Something happened.
We got you. Hey, Wallet. You there? Technology. It's the greatest. While Hey Wallet works to reconnect, we just want to thank everyone for joining us. As we're talking to Hey Wallet, we're talking alpha, what the market looks like, what Hey Wallet is doing. So quick shout out to everyone joining us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Unlonely. Huge shout out to the Unlonely family, Rumble, Kick, and Telegram, and Discord. And then everyone that's joining us on the Twitter space. Hey Wallet, are you there? Oh. Let's see. Well, it's not us that got rugged. All right. Oh, yep. No. Hey Wallet got rugged, and the Hey Wallet will be right back. No. So one of the really cool things that I want to touch on about Hey Wallet is I went on chain, and I was able to see when I started really interacting with Hey Wallet, and it's really cool. The account abstraction piece that they brought into it was before, in my opinion, everyone else. I think that there's a really cool piece there. And as he said, they wanted to build out really core 5 projects, 5 core items. And that's the generalized consensus, but I feel like that they're working on a few less than that to really solidify and really bring in. And we got boop. Hey Wallet is back. Let's see here as they connect. Let's bring them back on up. While they connect.
There we go. Oh man, sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. I wrote that. But no, I'm not sure the last thing that you heard from me say, but I was just saying, great call out, by the way. You're absolutely right with FTX. And it was one of those things we're just glad that the Band-Aid was pulled as quickly as possible.
Yeah, and the thing that made me sad was they didn't really say that it was the on-chain information that made everyone sort of aware of it, as I like to refer to him as Santa Claus, the financial expert that the U.S. prosecutors had. He called BUSD a Bitcoin stable dollar. So I know by him calling BUSD a Bitcoin stable dollar that we are still early. But like you were saying, I don't really, we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. But what are you doing for the future? What's coming? Are you guys? Can I still do Hey Wallet? Make this an NFT?
We don't have just yet. It's all there. Like so, everything is all there temporarily. Just want to step up a partnership with Twitter. So that information, I think definitely makes some bigger questions about that. But as of right now, that functionality is active just yet. It's alive right now, I should say. It's there. It's all just turning it on and making sure that we have the right chemicals.
Okay. And I heard everything, but you were a little bit of robot. So just for those that might have had a hard time hearing, to TLDR, the functionality is there, but it is turned off while you wait for Twitter and APIs to get reset and all figured out. Boom. Yeah. So it was a really cool functionality. You are a little bit of robot right now, in and out. And yeah. So we're gonna I think that this is a sign from Twitter. You know, so
Yeah, they're mad.
yeah. You know, heck, I was in the Sunday space with Elon on and Mario show and stuff like that, and there was 120,000 people in there, and you could see the frustration from Elon, him getting sort of rugged on his own platform, and he's like, "There's some things we need to fix." Um, so, but I just want to say thank you for coming on. I would love to have you again, you know, and anytime, Hey Wallet, you know, because I think it's sort of fun. You know, so please, if everyone has a chance, follow Hey Wallet, and click on that link. And one of the cool things that I really like about the wallet feature is it is account abstraction. Like I said, it was one of the first projects that I actually saw using social 2FA for securing a wallet. You can export that wallet too, so you have complete control of it. I don't know. There's a lot of cool stuff that you guys are building. Any last words?
Let's do this. Let's do this. We should definitely get Twitter turned back on for sure. So, that's and I'm finally got a chance to connect and contact. We can do spaces as well. I do more spaces as well. We can continue to grow together. We like to say is together.
Definitely. No, would love to do more spaces with you, and break down some of the tech, break down the future, but just have fun and talk. You know, I want to know. We'll save this for next time, but this is the question I'm going to ask, so you can have some time to research it. What was the largest Hey Wallet claim? And if you don't know, you know, like what was like, it might have been like the biggest amount of bonk that is now worth, you know, that was worth like 2 cents at the time, but now worth, you know, 50x of that or something like that. Who knows? I would love to know if you guys have any of that information, what the biggest Hey Wallet giveaway was. But thanks so much for coming on.
Where I'm working with, you know, very well, and I'm still not adapt. And a user of ours, just ours, I'm looking, and not a few others were just don't work out without. So, this was like this past week, I believe they
But one, I heard you up to the 100,000, and then all of a sudden you turned into the worst robot ever. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I think Hey Wallet was saying that they were trying to reconnect. But one thing I did hear is that they are definitely going to be back on TacoBytes. We'll do a daytime show and see what cool things we can get, you know, give away, and you by just interacting with the space. So I want to thank everyone for joining us. Normally, you know, if a guest can, they can, you know, I want to, you know, last words, words of wisdom. And unfortunately, Hey Wallet had to drop off because they disconnected. But I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. And so we end every episode the same way. Words of wisdom and the best, worst knock knock joke on the face of the planet. And our words of wisdom are always the same. So we will see you tomorrow. But our words of wisdom are: a closed mouth cannot be fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth. Meaning, if no one knows, oh, we got someone else coming up for a quick second. I don't know if this is a different or if this is Hey Wallet as well. We'll see. This is risky. It's risky to bring someone out random up, but I love doing it. So we'll see if they can connect. And I'll give them final thoughts. But our final thoughts and words of wisdom are: a closed mouth cannot be fed, and you cannot feed a closed mouth. Meaning, if no one knows you're looking for opportunity, opportunity can never come a knocking. If opportunity does come a knocking and no one answers, it's going to keep on walking. And with that, looks like Risky G is not able to connect. So I think Risky G is Hey Wallet, and so he just has a bad internet connection. So we're going to end with the greatest, worst knock joke on the face of the planet. It is done out of love. It is done out of those that come before us and those that come after us, and know that we will always be here the day after. And that is, knock knock. Who's there?